I will record the rest of the session. Cool. I'm gonna clear the current drawing and move to the next one. 117. So I'm a little confused with some of the questions. I know the first one is about graphical representation. The tick mark, yeah, the tick mark for now, because you don't have the contours, I wouldn't worry about the direction of the tick marks yet, because eventually the tick mark would be perpendicular to the contour. Okay, so if you have your, turn on annotation. If you have the contours, the tick mark would be perpendicular to both. Now, I know this might be original, and that might be your new contour. You would have to have both contours to be able to determine which is sort of trying to be perpendicular to the curve there. So I wouldn't worry about it now. Right now, it's only for assistance, right? It's only trying to mark the location of things that you want to have a elevation assessment for. So I wouldn't worry about it now. The porch can be lower than, not 6 foot, 6 inches. So the porch, yeah, it's 1 step. The porch can be, it's a matter of whether that step happens right here or the step happens right there, right? So basically, if you have a porch that's 1 step lower than the FFE, basically you step up right there into your house. If you have a porch that is at the same elevation as your FFE, you have a 1 step over here, right? So I would personally think 1 step ahead, when the walkway connects to the porch, will be a better design. So you have a more spacious room, a more spacious area in front of your building, and there is very little tripping hazard there. Okay. Should the swell go around the outline of the wooden deck? Right now, you could assume that the wooden deck does not. Oh, that's the former timer. I'm sorry. I'm gonna set up another one. Cool. So basically, you can imagine that the deck doesn't exist because your key task is to grade the ground outside of the building. Okay. You can assume that the deck is at the same elevation, the back deck at the same elevation as your building. So I wasn't sure where the green lines are. I'm assuming that they are these guidelines. So the lines that I'm assuming the green color is in the CAD file.
Oh, sorry, I mean yes, the deck, wooden deck. It is in the green lines.
Oh, okay. The wooden deck being green lines. Okay. So the deck does not have to have a relationship with the front porch. It only needs to be connected to your FFE, to your house FFE. So you can grade the deck to be below the FFE, or you can grade it to be exact the same as the FFE, okay? But the key thing is to focus on the ground for now. Yeah, you can pretend it doesn't exist, in order to develop your draft, okay? I do have a few things. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I have nothing to say.
Okay, that's no problem. I did notice a few things. Let me refresh my memory. When I first look at your drawing, I noticed there's something that needs to be changed. Okay, the garage FFE, as I mentioned before, it's the easiest if you grade it 0.5 below the FFE of the house. So basically, this will be 135.0 34.5. 33.5. Okay. So that looks good. This is good. That's good. Yeah, you don't know where I'm pointing at, but that's fine. This needs to be below the FFE.
Yes.
That's okay. That's okay. This is okay. This is likely too flat, but we will. Now you can recalculate to see the driveway slope looks to me pretty flat. We could do a quick measurement here. So if I want to measure from here to there, that's it's probably not set up the scale. Yeah, scale not set up correctly. So if I measure and I change, where is the, there's no way for me to set the scale. Here. The scale is set correctly, and I measured 2 feet. Strange. Anyway, so yeah, if you are able to measure, in your drawing, basically you should check that slope if it's correct. It doesn't seem to me the 2% is correct. Oh, did I? Yeah. Then I want to turn on annotate again. That's a few things I noticed. Let me try to see if there's anything else. Okay. Yeah, I would not recommend starting with the contours offsetting in your driveway or your walkway. So it's always a good thing to start with things that are fixed, and things that are flexible will wait until you mark out what has been determined, right? So for instance, this one, you should start with, again, that spot, and this spot. And then you have a 10 foot away from the building requirement, right? So you would use those spots and your garage 133.5 to determine, so if it's 10 feet away, 5%, this is 133, right? So the 133 and those spots will determine how your contour would go on the driveway. And then you calculate this one and that one. And you have those correct at 133.50. So based on those spots and your 133.50, you should be able to calculate the slope for your driveway. And there are many ways to design the driveway. I don't think we have enough detail to do the calculations yet. Once you have those spots, once you have the contours, a rough draft of the contour, then we could start with, do I want to design the walkway mainly sloping this direction? Or I know that you're trying to incorporate a crown for the walkway here, but actually it's not that necessary for such a small feature, okay? As long as the walkway is sloped, has a side slope. As long as it tilts in one direction, such a small walkway will be able to drain. So no crown is necessary for this one, okay?
I see.
Cool. I don't see much of anything else. This is above 2. Above 2. Yeah, I would suggest moving forward after you have corrected those key elevations. Sorry, I keep using the arrow. after you have corrected the key elevations here, here, and there, I would go back to draft up the contours. Draft up the contours, make sure the contours work, and then return to your walkway.
Oh.
Okay?
Okay.
Sounds good. Anything else that you want to discuss?
Not yet. Thank you.
Not yet. Awesome. All righty. Clear my drawing. Okay, moving forward to the next. Cool. Got a good draft here. So I know this one is Alyssa's, and let me quickly scan through and see which to start. No, what makes the best sense to address first. Does this side need? Okay, the first one, you don't have to have exact same contour numbers like the other side because your LPS could be very different. So they don't have, no, in this case, actually the two swells are not very balanced. So you don't need to worry about the number of contours being the same on both sides, okay? What do you mean by this? Surrounding ground elevations are either equal to or 6 foot lower than the ground. Okay, this means that the garage is different from the house. The house, you have to have at least 0.5 foot difference between the exterior and the interior to prevent water from coming in. The garage, in this case, would not be required to do that. It's basically your garage corner can be the same as your garage FFE, or it could be half foot below, but you don't have to maintain the same difference, okay, as the house. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Do my spot need to start there? Yeah, I think we went through where your spot needs to be for the driveway, right?
Can you?
Yeah,
I'm kind of confused how you got your spot elevation at the bottom. So am I going to use like 2%?
So because we're breaking down the curb, and so even though this is the area of the right of the way, and it goes out of our even though this area is out of our property line, but because I have to break the curb to connect my driveway, so I have to make changes to this area in terms of grading, right? So the project one description already also said that your grading can go beyond the property line only at the location in the area where the driveway connects to the main road. Okay, so I understand you were trying to start the spot elevation in the property line, but actually you should start with the connection. But why is the first thing is when we construct the driveway, those are the spots that we need to stake out. Those are the spots that we need to stake out to make sure that we build it correctly, right? And how do we determine this? Because this line, I'm only removing the curb. I'm not regrading the road. The road stays the same, right? To build a house, I don't have to rip out the road in front of me, which means all those spots along the main road stay the same as the road, right? So basically, I would measure this distance from here to there. I would measure that distance, and I would also measure the entire contour spacing. I'm just spacing it out. Use a different color, please. Blue. I'm also measuring the whole thing here to find out the slope. right? So then with that slope calculated and with the H I measured, I should be able to know the yellow dots, what the elevation for the yellow dots are. For instance, if I give a very quick example, this is my road, and that's my curb, and that's where the driveway connects. If the spot is right in the middle, then I know that spot. For instance, if it's 130 and that's 129, I know the spot is 129.50. It's proportional. It's exactly the process as we measure when we did the swell thing, the exercise 5, right? Finding out where a certain elevation would be based on the horizontal distance to the closest whole number contour. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, that was really helpful. I was so confused.
Cool, great. All righty. So we zoom back to see the other questions. Come on. Yeah, I wish they could let us maintain annotate while every time I need to close everything and then restart. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so we have explained, I believe, probably excess of 5, why we do not recommend using a whole number for your LPS. It's mainly because the LPS is where you don't have any grading beyond that point. And that is to assume that contour, for instance, the 128 contour does not need to move. But oftentimes, you would find out that's probably not the case. So you subject to very likely later changes to that 128 contour. So it might seem that it could work now, but if you have more contours to adjust later on, if you find out you have more contours that you need to adjust, then you need to move your LPS. So for instance, this one, I would probably recommend you to put it up at 128.50 for your estimation, for your first draft. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I tried doing that, but one of the reason why I just stuck with a whole number is my contour lines, like those thingies, won't fit my center line. And I think that's the reason why I picked it, because that's the only way that I could fit everything in one line, or else it would go beyond, and I don't know how else to fix it. Because I tried fixing my high points so many times, but it just doesn't work out. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Okay. Well, let's zoom back out and look at if there's major or bigger scale adjustment that needs to be made in order for it to work. Is it okay that my 129 did not wrap around? In this case, no. But let's look at the big picture first. So you have your FFE at 134.8, which looks reasonable. I think you don't have a 134. No, yeah, you're missing a 134 around your building because your HPS is pretty far away. So you're missing 134. Could it be that? Not really, because your center line are above 2. You don't have a center line problem. Okay. So let's make some adjustments here. If we move this one to that, maintaining a 0.5 difference from your house FFE, yeah, that's correct, at 30. And you would have 6 foot away, you have your 134. 134 should be 6 foot away at 5%. So that means your 134 will wrap around your building like that. You have a 3% HPS. Oh, yeah, it's okay. So everything else should stay 4 foot away at 25%, right? So next one will be something like this. And this is 10%, so this one needs to be 10 foot away. Then you can tighten up 5. Then go back, go back to here. And then you keep moving 4 foot away for your 132. And here is 10 foot away again. And then you go back to 4 foot away on this side. And now we're getting into, so if you have some, yeah, I don't think moving this one to 131.50 would change drastically your tick marks, because essentially what you need to do is you move a little bit over to the side, making sure this is 2 parts of that. And yeah, it seems like, oh, and the other thing is it's really, really hard for water to turn 90 degrees, okay? So that means that this needs to be like that. Okay, so we just had 132. Your 131, no, definitely would need to connect on your driveway here. Again, 10 foot away. So your 131 would again go. So now you need to tighten up because you're getting very close to the tree. So here is 4 foot away, and that one you should try to get closer and not try well here, because otherwise you won't be able to. All right, so what about ending your swell earlier? Here, you don't need to wrap everything around.
Wait, I can do that?
You can do that. So does this solution direct water away from your building? Yes. Right? So this is something you could do. Granted that your neighbor will receive your water, but we're not grading this project based on that. Now, in a real project, you may not be able to direct water into your neighboring unit. We don't know who the neighbor is. Now, let's assume that he doesn't care. And the other thing is, if you really want your swell to wrap around the whole house area, your HPS, you might want to move it closer to this part, this area. Okay. So then it will be easier, to connect the contours, but it's not necessary in this case.
One more before don't delete
this thing. Will be where you would get really tight. So you need to pay attention to the slope percentages allowed in this area. You might want to pull the contours closer to your building to stay away from that tree. Okay.
Yeah. Since hypothetically you added you made my LPS 131.50, but I don't think that's enough space for my 131 contour.
Your 131 will connect here, right?
Oh, so I don't have to like put it in that center line?
This is your LPS. I'm not quite sure.
So, oh, my bad. So does that mean I don't have to like find 31 and add that in the center lines? What I'm trying to say?
No, you don't have to. Now your 131 is only the one. No, start with the contour on your driveway. It doesn't become part of your swell.
Okay. got it.
Yeah. Cool. Alrighty. Anything else from?
Oh, okay. Random one. While you were explaining it back to the other students, can you explain again why the garage, like the front garage, needs to be like the same as the porch again? Like I know why you did it, but what's the reason? Like I know how you did it.
Yeah. So the reason being, if the garage is the same as the FFE, if the garage is the same at 134, that will be 134, right?
Yeah.
But the exterior area here needs to be lower, the ground here, not the porch, okay? And that's for a second pretend that the porch doesn't exist. The ground here needs to be lower by at least half foot. So that actually creates a drop in this area. Actually, I'm going to use that one. Creates a drop in this area, which will kind of form negative drainage. So if this is 134, so if this is, I'm sorry. If this is 134.80 as your house FFE, 80, and if these corners needs to be 30, is draining. This corner, this area is draining back into your building, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's better the FFE is exactly 0.5 lower than your house FFE.
Okay. No, thank you.
Yeah.
That was so helpful.
Good. Cool. And anything else that I missed? Okay, let's see. Yeah, I think I covered all of them. Good. Sounds good. Once you are able to make all these changes, we can come back and talk about the walkway. All right?
Yep. Thank you so much.
Okay. And I believe this is Max.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Cool.
I almost feel like I'm gonna, like, I already gained so much, like, watching, like, you critique other people and looking at other people. I feel like next, like, the crits next week, I'll have a lot more ready. I was just really confused. Like, I watched the videos and everything. I was just kind of confused how to set it up. So I didn't want to do all the math and then get to the point where, like, I thought I had it all correct and then I didn't. So I kind of just wanted to, like,
yeah. No, sounds good. I'm glad that the review just now helped you. So yeah, very similar to what I told the other students, you would start with the driveway, start calculating the driveway spots when it connects to the main road, and then determine your FFEs, and then they'll go to your HPS, set your LPS, and calculate your center line. So yeah, the additional step is actually determine your own FFE, the new thing from previous exercise, right? So start with here, go up here, and then go down there and go there. No, this is kind of the process. Go there and then start the contours.
Okay.
All right.
So the FFE, that shouldn't be a whole number, right?
What you can definitely set it as a whole number, but that decision, that first try, will be informed by your calculation of the driveway.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So this is the lower side, so you would calculate the side. Now for this first, for that remaining part to be 10%, and calculate what that spot would be, and then adding up that 0.5 to get your garage FFE.
Okay.
Cool. Sounds good. Well, if we have more time at the end of the class, if you make progress, we could definitely take another look.
Okay, cool.
Okay, awesome.
All right, thank you.
Sounds good. Moving forward. So how should I orient the plan so the extents are shown? The extent that you show right here works And yeah, I know you're missing a little bit on the bottom left, and that's totally fine because that's you won't be grading that area anyway. Okay, so I think you don't have to worry about missing that small area as long as your scale is correct. Okay, best way to show spots that are tight together. At this point, I would not worry too much about the organization of the spots. I would worry about displaying all of them and make sure they're at they're at the right spots. All necessary spots are shown, and then starting to organize based on all the map elements that you have. Okay, because spots are not spots themselves. When you reorganize and make everything legible, you would consider, okay, there's a swell center line. There is no other labels that come into play as well. So you will adjust all of them together. But one note here, I think everybody could benefit from is you could orient all your spots. Now the custom, the most common way is for all the labels to be parallel to the bottom of the page, exactly the direction you're showing here. But in our case, it's also reasonable to align that with the building. So that means you could have your spot doing that. Okay, so because the orientation, you don't have to tilt your head too much to read. It doesn't make it too difficult to read the labels this way. So you could choose to align all your labels parallel to the boundary of your building. Okay. That's a way to get everything organized. Yeah, I did check all your math and they seem to work. The swell and the HVS, all those, they seem to work pretty well. So I would recommend that you keep working on it. Except for those two. Those are not correct. Yes, yeah.
I realized that after you were talking today.
Yeah, other things roughly work. Let me do a very quick recheck. Garage works, porch. Yeah, this could be set as 1. Yeah, that's fine. 4.5. 129. Yeah, your math right now, what you show here, they don't conflict with each other at all. So I would recommend keep working to figure out the contours, and if anything doesn't work, come back and do some minor adjustment to your center line or something.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah, for the driveway,
yeah.
Can it be 10% the whole way, or is it like the other ones where it can only go to a certain point, like 10 feet?
Yeah.
From the garage?
So there are 2 requirements, right, for the driveway. You need to maintain 5% maximum slope for the first 10 foot away, which means you should have a 10 foot mark somewhere here. I don't know exactly, but I assume it's somewhere here.
Yeah.
Have a 10 foot, yeah, at 5%, right? And then where's the high side and low side? Okay, the high side, this is the high, that's the low, right? Did I get it right?
I think so.
Yes. So if this is the high side, so this will be the lower point. So that will be the steeper side, right? So basically you would calculate that spot first, this spot first, and use 10% to see whether your garage FFE would be exceeding 10%. I don't think you're exceeding, but it's good to double check.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, let me zoom back in. I want to make sure. In terms of relationship.
I think I will.
In terms of the relationship between all your contours, they seem all your spots and contours and FFEs, they seem to agree with each other. But I want to make sure that I am actually making a correct assessment. So this is about 49 foot. All right, and let me turn off my annotation and zoom back in. Okay. Yeah, so that spot is close to 129.6. And then we have a, let's assume this is 50. And I need to go 40 feet at 10%, which means I go 4 foot above. And then I need to go 10 foot, 5%. So that's 0.5. So overall, I go above 4.5 foot. So if this is that one, I would have a 134.1. And
Okay.
yeah, oh, you're exceeding.
So yeah, I think I went
Yeah.
Just a little
all the way,
high,
10%
yeah.
all the way up. Okay, so now this needs to be adjusted. Yeah, that will cause some changes, but probably not too much. It's only 0.4 difference. So
Okay.
meaning that you will lower this probably by 0.4, and then because you're at 3%, you may be able to still maintain a 2% centerline slope.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I want to go back and see if your other side of the swell is also, significantly above. Yeah, no, I don't think you will go below 2% on either side.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, sound good?
Thank you very much.
Alrighty, you're welcome. And keep going. So let me turn off these things. Can you remind me whose drawing is this one? I can turn off my screen and see it. I just want to make sure you're here.
The one that's up on the screen is mine, but in the list it said Max was next.
Oh no, yeah, we had a student moved down, so you should be good. So I made some notes. Yeah, I measured your drawing before the class, and I remember seeing this one. So the first one, the driveway spot needs to be recalculated. The 10%. Yeah, seems the garage FFE is a little too high, as I explained to Steph just now. You seem to have a very close, similar distance between the garage to the driveway as he has. Oh, but your driveway has a higher elevation. The same. Yeah. So this spot here, looks like is very similar. 129.6 or something, and this seems to be, yeah, let's just do a quick measurement. Okay, make sure. Okay, now we'll measure this from here to there. So yeah, very similar. Yeah, you have the same distance, which means the calculation would be the maximum garage FFE would be around 134.1. So that's a little too high. So garage FFE, I think, will be around 134.1. Assuming, yeah, we went through why this would be, well, it would be better to be below. GFFE would be better. FFE minus 0.5. Huh, why is it? Okay. And, okay. Yeah, so you don't need to mark that one. Yeah, you mark where exactly the curve stops. Your center line seems to be, no, if I evaluate based on your current numbers, your center line seems to be working. I measured this just to comment that your HPS is not low enough based on your corner elevation, because if it's 40 feet at 2%, now you actually go down 0.8. So now the difference between this one and that one is only 0.5. That means this area is a little too flat. It's flatter than 2%. Okay.
Mhm.
So that would actually mean you can, suppose the other numbers are correct, you could change your center line, maybe just, bring it closer to the corner. So you maintain exactly 25 feet away to make that 2% slope.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah. Now we turn to the list of the questions you have here. Now, as we explained, walkway will wait until that you make sure your draft contours work, because that's how you can calculate walkway. Should I have labeled the house and the garage if they're, yeah, definitely. You should label both of them, even if they're at the same elevation.
Okay.
Your line hierarchy right now, I don't think it has enough hierarchy yet, but I would worry about that next week. I would focus on the grading solution at this point. So yeah, basically your contours are not heavy enough. Okay, contours not heavy enough, and until you have all your spots and labeling put on it, you can comment on the labels. Right now, the labels, the label seems to be at a good size. Yeah, but I would really suggest you systematically adjust that once you have all the map elements on it. Yeah, and determine which one is more important and which one is less, right? I can't tell if my swell are in a good shape, right? Is that a good spacing or shape?
I think it says spacing.
Okay. Because you are at 2.9 and 3.6%, I think the spacing works. Annotation B0, yeah, this one we had went through. You can align with the bottom of the page or the edge of the edge of the building.
So that means they're okay the way they are?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
The viewport question, I would suggest that if you have time, if you think you got enough observation from the breakout rooms, you can go to the CAD session. Am I missing major annotations? I think, no, the spots are not there yet. The contours, yeah. Really, I would focus on the grading for now. The annotations, because many of the map elements are not here yet. So there are quite a bit that is missing. For instance, the contour numbers, right? Though many of the spots. So for all of you, the label of the walk, the porch, the wood deck, they can be moved. If they interfere with your labeling, feel free to move it and alter it, okay? Those 4 labels, the driveway, the walk, the porch, and the wood deck, they're not set in stone. They can be changed, okay? For instance, the garage FFE is in a different font as your labeling. Feel free to change it to make it consistent. Yeah. I want to try to go back to your grading for a little bit. So your HPS is at a whole number, which is not actually beneficial, because at this stage, as we explained, if it's at a whole number, it actually means your swell would touch on your high point as well, right? Yeah. So even if you make it 134.10, it would make it more clear where the HPS is.
Okay.
No, yeah. So that means actually then if it's 10, then you are using 20 foot away instead of 25 foot away. The other thing is, you know, now you have the sort of the V-shaped contour, but they cannot be connected back to the original contour, right? Now, what the contour look like, if your FFE is 134 something, your first contour of 134 will wrap around the building, right? So for you, Olivia, I would suggest that you first, let me clear some of that. I would suggest that you first adjust your driveway. I'll use a different color, otherwise it's the same as your, adjust the driveway. So you know your garage FFE, right? You will have a better garage FFE. Yeah.
And you think it should be lower? You think that
yes.
it should be, okay.
Yes, the garage FFE should be lower because
okay, there it is.
Otherwise you will have exceeded the 10% slope. Yeah, definitely, because the garage FFE is 134.10, the corner would be the same, 134.10, and this one is 134.6. So yes, everything here needs to be adjusted by 0.4. So yes, your garage FFE will lead to your HFFE, house FFE to change, will lead to the corner to change, will lead to HPS changes, and then I'm not sure. I'm pretty confident this side will stay within 2 to 10% slope, but this side it may drop below, but we can, it might not. No, it's kind of borderline there. So you want to check the north swell and see if its slope will drop below 2%. And then you should work on driveway contours. I know you have calculated the driveway spots, but then now you have these, right? But these essentially need to be connected back to the contours here. So now figure out, sorry, I'm gonna clear this portion. I'm writing very big text here. Now, next step, once you've fixed your north swell, you would move on to your driveway contours. And then connect to your driveway contours with your V-shaped swell contours. Okay, so now, for instance, the first contour might be, your first swell contour in this case would be probably 134. Oh, so 3, sorry, exactly 3. First swell contour would probably 133. So that one should be connected back to there. Same thing like that. But your first contour outside of your house, would likely be actually 134, depending on whether this garage FFE is if you set that above 134, okay? The 134 might not form your swell, but if your garage FFE is above that, it will have another contour wrap around your building, which is your 134. I know no distance is not correct, but basically doing something like that. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. And then when you have the whole draft for your contours, make sure everything stay within the range of the slopes. Then you go back to your walkway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Sounds good. Welcome. All righty. Clear all my drawings. then moving forward. Yeah, we still have enough time. Good. Cool. So you click on the questions. How to interpret the horizontal distance of LP? Yes, that which connects. Not sure I understand this one, but I'll hear from you. Yeah, elevation, we went through this area. No, we're not supposed to. Yeah, this I'm not. Do you need no. And this one is about minus. Okay, so I believe I have addressed a few of these. Anne, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Cool. So we went through how to calculate the driveway. Do you have any question about this part?
No, I think I'm pretty clear about that.
Awesome. And I don't know for sure what the gap means. Did you mean that the base map is missing a portion here?
Yeah, like there's
An
like
error.
a space, and I don't know
One?
if that was
This
yeah.
one? Okay, that's probably an error. Thank you for bringing that up. We don't need any spots for the deck. Yeah, we can align, the way that you align the spots with the edge of the building is totally fine, but just you want to make sure that's kind of consistent, okay? If you do that for the spots here, make sure you do that for the FFE as well.
Okay.
Yeah. I know there's another one above, well, about the how to connect. So this one is the walk connects to the driveway. I'm not sure I totally understood this question. So if you can explain, help me understand, that'd be great.
I think like where the walkway meets the driveway.
Yeah.
So those 2 points, I think it's similar to how we figured out the
Oh, yes. Okay. So once you correct this area and you mark out the 10-foot. Now, so if this is 10 foot, that would be 133.5, right? You need to calculate this one though, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do we calculate this one is you figure out that spot based on that and that, okay? And then calculate the difference between A and B here of 133.5. Measure the distance between A and B and figure out the slope here. I know you had a 9.2%, but if this 9.2% is based on A being 130, then that's not correct. A should be based on interpolating between that one and that one.
Okay.
Okay, and then once you have a slope for the side, you can calculate those two spots. They should be different. Yeah, this one should be higher and that one should be lower. It's determined by the driveway.
Okay, that makes sense. Just another question about the walkway.
Let me just point out just very quickly here. There's a tiny difference. There's a tiny difference between, okay, my annotate disappeared again. Tiny difference between this one and that one. I just want to make sure we distinguish those two.
Okay, and we're using the one on the top to measure.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
But we have to label the other one.
Yeah, label this one and that one, but
okay.
You need to calculate this one in order to calculate the whole.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, let me zoom back. Clicked on the wrong button. This one. You mentioned something about the LPS. I'm not sure what that is about. No, I think the LPS, the LPS right now is not correct. It's below. It's between 132 and 133, right? Shouldn't be above 33.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yes. So how do you calculate that one? Would be you interpolate between yeah, my iPad turned off. Hello. Okay, good. So what you could annotate, you could draw a line, cross the LPS that you determined, and based on the proportion of that, you'd interpolate between 132 and 133. In this case, I would estimate it to be something like that, or even 85. Okay, so that's how you get that LPS. And that would definitely increase that slope. So it wouldn't be 2% anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to just quickly check everything else because we still have a few minutes. Okay. Yeah, there's a problem somewhere here where you had a negative drainage. You could not have a slope back to a corner, right? So the basic idea is to set this at 134 instead of 35. It's 33.50 because there is no requirement for that one to be 0.5 foot below garage FSE.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like for the door, like practically speaking, on the other side of the garage, that means there would be like a slope when people walk out.
Yes. 2% slope is what you aim for this area.
Okay.
Where it connects to the HPS. I know the requirement's below 5, right? But because you don't want to lower your HPS too much, so you're trying to aim for 2% in this area, and for positive drainage and for not lowering the HPS too much.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. I just have another quick question.
Yeah.
Do you think for the driveway, after I find out the correct points at the end of the driveway, do you think it would affect my FFE a lot?
It doesn't seem so. It doesn't seem so because you are pretty close. Because no, let's measure. If you have the same distance as Olivia and Devin, then I think you have the same limit for your garage FFE to be about 134.1. So it seems that, it seems that you have even larger distance between your edge and your walkway. No walkway, the driveway. So I think you should, it's snapping to the wrong point. But so you have a longer driveway. So you have an even higher limit for your garage FFE. But before we calculated, Devin and Olivia garage FFE, the limit would be 134. No, I want to annotate. Yeah, it would be 134.1, right? Now, because you have a longer driveway, where is it? Huh, sorry, disappeared. You have a longer driveway, so you can go up to 134.4, for instance. Now you have this 134, meaning that you are not exceeding the 10% requirement. So as long as you can make the swell work, I think you can keep the garage FFE.
Okay.
Yeah, but in this case, you calculate backwards to find the slope, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Sounds good. You're welcome. Anything else? We're good?
Okay. I think I'm okay. I mean, unless you see anything glaringly wrong.
4, 5, 3. Okay. No, I don't see anything glaringly wrong. Yeah, except, just that one. No, I mentioned the negative drainage at the corner. Yeah, I think you should keep moving forward, finding the contours for the swells and the driveways.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah. Alrighty, moving forward to, I believe this is Ryan. Okay. Is Ryan here? Is Ryan here? Okay, yeah, I think we're a little early. So let's move forward to, Eric, are you here? Calling Eric and Brian.
Sorry.
So, I'm sorry, is this Eric or Ryan?
This is Eric.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Eric, what kind of questions do you have?
My biggest questions were about the driveway and connecting them to the contour lines. It kind of got confusing. And you can see like up at the top there around my low point swale, it just got really weird.
Yes. Yeah. Well, so okay. So the first thing that I saw here is that because there's no curb anymore, the contour here should not continue along that edge. So that point doesn't exist anymore because you removed the curb, remember?
Okay.
Yeah. So that 130 contour basically would be here and then connect based on where 130 would be along this line. They stop at the curb here, right? Because there's there's no curb, and it should connect based on wherever you calculate 130 should be along this line.
Okay.
Yeah. Then let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to see if there is what I'm thinking is I can't just work on this one. Is there anything bigger, larger scale that I need to adjust to make sure, my adjustment for only that area would actually work? So now let's zoom back out and just do a quick look at the whole picture here. So you have a 7.2. Let me measure to make sure that your garage FFE is it's not exceeding the slope requirement. Okay, now we have about 48, or let's just say 50 foot of difference. So this is the lower side. We have a 129.4 scenario again. Now do a quick calculation. If that point is about 129.4, we have about 40 feet of 10%, so we raise about 4.5 foot as we explained before. So it should be the maximum 133.9. So you have that one. It should work. Would be a good start unless things just change for other parameters that eventually gone out of the range. So it's a good start to have that as 133.50. Then this is good. That would be the same as the garage because that is 0.5 and you don't want to drop. So this one could be lower. That one is okay to be lower, that's fine. The deck, you don't have to mark anything, but yeah, that's 2 feet below this one. So there's something, yeah, with the lower ones. This is,
that's a
this is
mistake on
probably
my
an
part.
error. Yeah, that's an error.
I had marked all the FFVs as lower, 2 feet lower, and then I changed them, and I must have forgotten to change that one. So that's just a mistake.
Sounds good. And then, this is okay. Well, that one should be 0.5. They're running out of space to write, but this one should be 0.5 because it needs to be the same as the entrance. It seems like you had a step here instead of there. So your step is here, stepping into your house there. 0.5, 0.5 point, that's, okay. So the ground elevation here is also 0.5. So that one is too low, should be 0.5 as well. Okay, so there, yeah, you need to adjust, make minor adjustments to the spot for your garage and your corner of your porch and the house corner over here. Now you have realized part of the 133 is along the edge, right? Which is totally fine. Now that's totally fine. But then you also, yeah, it's good that you also realized I have my 133 somewhere here. Right. So it needs to connect back to the corner some way like that, right? Yeah. So it depends on how it goes. So you could determine the correct distance. I'm only illustrating the idea. So 133 need to go around the building like that.
Okay. Would I put any tick marks on that, or would that just be flush against the building?
I would need a little bit of explanation what that means.
Like,
oh, you mean the, oh, okay. So 5% of slope, no, I think it depends on whether this line is correct. I don't know if this line is correct. Because in order to maintain, no, essentially you need to maintain 10 foot away. So I think right now it's a little too close. That crown there is not 10 foot away. The distance is not enough.
Okay.
To a garage, yes. Yeah. And this side, of course, it can go below, right? No, can go higher than 5%. So this side can stay closer. This curve here can stay closer to the building, but here you would have exactly 10 foot away. Suppose that you're not creating a side slope there. You don't have to, but you could create a crown, but that crown would be, at least like this. Oh, sorry. Yeah, like that. No, those two spots needs to be at least 10 foot away. Okay. And then because you can stay closer on this end, so it would not be exactly like parallel to the building edge. So that and that, it could be like this, right?
Right.
Yeah, so it would get closer to the building porch. Okay. So those are the big picture things. So that's 2. Your 3 definitely would not be like that because now your 3, yeah, you should do something like this. Right. Yes. Yeah. Then let's go back to this area. Okay, I'm gonna save the screen here in case we need it later. But now I'm gonna clear everything. You can take a screenshot if you would like. Okay. I'll clear things so I can zoom back or move to this area. All right. So suppose that we are 10 foot away now. It's 3. We need to find 2. I think your contours are probably a little too far away from each other. So you do need to calculate those distances correctly for the driveway. Yeah. So we need a 30. What's happening? Somewhere like this. We need a 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now suppose I'm basically just roughly drafting it out.
Okay.
Yeah, they look like they are at pretty close correct spacings. 33 would do something like that. And 2, 1, and yeah, that's all good. But basically this one also needs to be squeezed in between, or it needs to, or this part needs to be moved back as well. So staying 4 feet away from each other. But the tree cannot be changed. So for the 128, you can only start adjusting it, beyond or within our property line. So here you have a question about 1. We have a 2.22% slope. Yeah, it's hard for you to move. So you can only start adjusting that one. What if you put your low point of swell there? In this case, for instance, you only have 2 contours here. The 2 contours, very hard to force your water to flow exactly the way you designed as your center line, right? Because what's shaping the flow direction is not just the center line that you drew. You have to have matching contours that would actually, be in the direction that would form that flow along the center line. So I think it would be better if your center line doesn't turn to your driveway drastically in that direction, so you don't have to move this one.
Okay.
I know there might be a concern that you don't have enough vertical difference. So if I have that one as 131.50, then I might drop below 2%, right? What I could do is I could move it down close to the property line so that I increase the V, or I raise this one, right? If I raise this one, that also works. Yeah, let's do a quick measurement to see how much we need to move it. So that's 65. Oh. Annotate again. If this is 65 foot and 2%, I need to have at least 1.3. So I need to get this to 132.8. So means that I need to raise this by 0.3. I think, let's see, is this distance exactly 25?
I don't think I measured it.
Okay. So let's measure it. So that's close to 25, which means the only thing that you need to do actually is to make this. Annotate again. To make this the same as the garage FFE.
Okay.
That should definitely work. Well, if there's any problem down the line, it could possibly be problems, but I think there's a good chance that this can work out.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah. Let's zoom back and see if there's anything with the south swell that needs to be considered. Here, going back to the bottom. The bottom is 2.35. If you don't yeah, I don't think there's a big problem, but you do need to pay attention to the contours over here because it does seem like you have to adjust them.
Mm.
Yeah, and here you definitely need to pay attention to the distances so you can maintain 4 feet away for these contours. All right. Yeah.
All right, sweet, thank you.
Sounds good. Ready, you're welcome. Okay, we have one more student. I believe it's Ryan. You here, Ryan? Well, let's see. Not here. Okay, I'm gonna take a 5-minute break, and if you come back, let me know. Can you use chat function here? Okay, I see there's 2 chat. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna take a 5-minute break. If you have other people and Ryan has questions, feel free to speak up then. All righty, I'm gonna duck out for a second. So I am back. I see a question from Elisa. I'm just wondering.
Oh, that was from before. You answered it.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. So at this point, I don't see Ryan yet. If any of you have a way to text, please help so that we can review this drawing. If not, no, at this point, I can answer any other questions you have. Yeah, sounds like we're all working productively. Okay, in that case, I'm going to mute myself so you can work quite quietly, but feel free to unmute yourself when a question comes up, okay?
Am I allowed to ask a question if I am not in the group for today?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
yeah, that's
awesome.
fine.
Could I share my screen?
Yeah, I'm going to stop share here.
Cool, thanks. Okay, so I think my main concern was if this was like deep enough. I don't know if deep's the right word, but I felt like there needed to be more contours on the swale for it to be effective, especially over on the opposite side. It just seemed kind of strange only having like one on this far side. But I don't know, because it seems like it's going to fit spacing wise, but
yeah, well, I wouldn't. I think the center line right now has a 3.1 and 2.6. You can always alter the shape of the contour later on.
Okay.
To make it work better. But I think conceptually it should work fine. For the length
cool.
here, for the length here, you could adjust the direction of the center line, but maintain roughly the same length of the center line, right? I do think orienting your center line, northwestward would help you draw the contours later on. For instance, if I can.
Do you mean up on the far side?
Yes,
on the side that's not the garage?
Right.
Okay.
So if I were to do this.
Right.
Yes, yeah. Then it will make it easier to connect back to existing contours. Now at the same time, my shape of the contour will be able to push water in the direction that I want. Right.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So if I do the same thing here, I would probably, yeah, that should work. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I was just getting a little concerned about drawing the low point swale. Oh, now I moved it. Drawing the low point of the swale up too high, but since that is the way the water is flowing, is it okay if the low point swale doesn't actually like pass the house technically?
That's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was considering moving it up to 129.5, like I think around where you have it, but
yeah, because originally the water it's basically flowing that way.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we don't need to put it closer to the building in order to make it work.
Right. Yeah. Okay, awesome. I wasn't sure if that was just a set rule or just for the one example we used, you guys recommended,
Yeah. That's a good start point. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cool. And did I hear at some point I heard a voice unmuting? No worries. Yeah, I'll just be here. No.
I actually have one more question, if that's okay, quick.
No problem. Go ahead.
Okay, so you were talking about the drainage with the porch and then the garage. Is it fine if they're the same elevation?
So let me get oriented. So the house is over there.
Sorry, I took out some of the labels.
Oh, no worries. The entrance should be 130. Yes, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so it would drain fine if the porch and the driveway are both equal.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because you have basically your slope is away from, it's perpendicular away from the building.
Right. Okay,
yeah.
That makes sense. I think this is my last question, but can there be a contour that runs through that deck because since it said to Okay,
yes.
cool.
yeah. No worries. We're still 10 minutes away from ending time. Bring up as many as you want.
Sounds good. Thanks. So also my one elevation for the walkway is not elevation. My one side slope for the just walkway coming out of the house is like 2% and the other one's 8 something. Is that an issue or is that okay?
Can I see this? See your drawing?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I have.
Okay, there's a 2%. Yeah. Okay, 133.40. How? I mean, I'm not quite sure. Can you help me understand how you get the 8.7?
Yeah, so I did it was the 133. Maybe my math is wrong. That could be 0.4
Yeah, it looks
3.2.
Yeah.
And then I divided that by the length. So I got 0.2 for the change in elevation divided by 23. Yeah. Oh, just kidding. I'm off by a decimal point.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay. Huh.
Cool. Yeah, because your basically your main change happens in this direction. Okay, in this direction, your main main slope it's on that direction. So you don't necessarily have to. Yeah, there are multiple ways of grading this walkway. If you want the slope to change gradually along this center, so your grading would be relatively balanced, you could make the change. No, you could calculate a change along that line, right? That's your gradual change, but that's not the steepest slope along along this line. That makes sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So,
right. Or you could grade the whole thing. You could grade the whole thing just having one slope.
Okay.
In this direction. That's also fine too.
Just having one slope. So how would I do that?
So basically, that spot would be the same as this spot. That spot will have the same spot as this one. No, your main slope is actually going in this direction.
Okay.
Slope, will be the same as the slope here. And then once you have this slope, this spot and that spot, you could basically calculate the slope based on those two spots and these two spots.
So how would I work that out mathematically? So if I use one from the driveway with it's about 5 feet, that's one slope, but then how would I solve like the beginning of it?
Yeah, let me clear. So if the main direction of your walkway is sloping that way, right? Then you could have that one and that one be carried through the whole line here. So this would be 2.79. That would be 3.29.
3.29. Where
20. Yeah, 20. Basically that would be the same. That would be the same.
Okay, I kind of get what you're saying. Like the same slope, since it's. I think it would be like 8.2 then, because that's the driveway.
Oh, that's an issue. Yeah. If that's not. Yeah, that's exceeding the walkway slope. Basically, there's too much. Okay.
Oh, I forgot I was sharing. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. So in that case, if it's only allowed 4% slope, then you would. It doesn't change that one and that one. Where is the 10-foot mark line? 10 foot from the building.
It's this blue one that's right at the beginning.
The blue one. This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that one's from the garage, and then this one over here is from the building.
Okay. So, yeah, I will have to discuss this one with Stuart then. Now, is it allowed that this portion be 8.2?
Yeah.
If not, then you need to extend that to 4%.
Okay.
Then it means this one would be the range here. I know you have a 8.2, so maybe it's 10% and then 4% and then 5%. So let me discuss this with him. So I believe in previous years we're not enforcing that, but I want to make sure that I'm giving the correct message here.
Okay.
So yeah, but basically, if this has to maintain 4, then that could be the same as 133.29, but then this needs to be 2% as well. Then you would calculate 2 slopes from that one to this one and this one to that one. and make sure they're not out of the range. But essentially, those are basically verification. The calculation would be based on these, right? The 4%. Yeah, but calculating that slope would be verification that none of those spots are too low to create a too steep slope, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, let me discuss, and then we'll get back probably all together at the beginning of the session on Thursday.
Okay, yeah, that sounds great. Thank you. I think I forget what I was gonna say, but so with that, I had thought it said up to 10% for the driveway and walkway, but is 4 like more of a recommended?
Up to 10% is in the assignment description.
Okay.
No, in the table is actually 12. So, but we have a lower, the table that we gave you as a general guideline. That's a little more relaxed than this one, but you should stick with whatever the final project description says.
Got it. Then what were you saying about the 4% slope? What is the parameter?
The walkway needs to be below 4.
Oh, that's what I thought.
From the table.
Okay. Okay, got it.
Driveway and walkway must be between 2 to 10. Huh. Yeah. So this is where this conflicts with the desirable range. So let me make sure. Yeah, it's only the question about walkway.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I will double check with him this afternoon.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Yeah, we're about 2 minutes away. I think it might be a good idea to return to the main room. I'll need to see if Stuart has anything to mention to the whole class. Okay, I'm gonna leave the room. See you in the main room if you decide to stay. Okay, Stuart's not here anymore. Oh, so Jess, did the other session end early?
What you mean?
Oh, they're not returning. Okay, they're still in the breakout room.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to stay for a minute and see if Stuart has anything that he wants to mention. But class, if you would like to leave at 11:50, feel free to do so.